Watkins.
Oh, and he's got the same hand.
He's in a small blind.
Pass. Thank you.
Well, this could be good for Gary. He's more likely to be in front if he hits his king or his jack, because the other two players have got the same hand, obviously.
3 players.
Three-way for 3-2-5. Who has the advantage?
The guy in position.
Check. Check. Check.
And here he is. This is the guy in position, last to act.
That's 150. 115.
Last to act, and the worst hand on the table. But Sean Watkins in a very tough position. How can he think his hand is any good?
There's no way that he's going to call, because he's got Michael, who's the original raiser, behind him. For all he knows, Michael might be trapping with a set. So he'll be out of this pot. Whether Michael's got the gumption to raise, no, very quickly passed. And Gary's picked up a nice pot there, limped in, saw weakness from the other two, and picked up another pot.
That is a strong start for Gary Manning. You might remember him playing against the Tangerine Man, Keith Milner, and narrowly came second, and now is leading this field in the semi-final.
I'm not confident at all, to be honest with you. I'm just making the most of it, and if I get through, I've exceeded every expectation. I'm already gone further than I thought I would, so I'm just going to enjoy it. Be nice to me is the only advice I can give to other players. Read my bluffs in the wrong way. That would be fantastic, and let me win.
We really have got 7 tremendous players here. You know, they've come through 2 qualifying stages to get here. They're on a, that was originally a free roll. They've now made it through to the semi-final of Late Night Poker Race, looking for the top British amateur champion. And of course, if they make the final, not only have they got a shot at that lifestyle package worth £50,000, but every single finalist is going to make some money, from £1,000 right up to second place and 25,000.
Pass.
It's a lot to play for, Jesse.
Pass.
Yeah, it is. All these players in on an online qualifier.
Call.
After this semi-final heat, we'll be down to the final 8.
Raise
But
to 150.
we've had a raise from Gary Manning in the big blind, and look what he's raised with, Simon. Am I seeing the cards correctly?
Pass.
I'm not quite sure why he did that, especially after Sean's limped.
Well, this pot 350, action will be on Gary
pairs.
Manning, who has a bag of bones. Boy, if he can find a bet here, be ice cold.
Pretty scary flop, isn't it?
He's looking at the board. I have 7 high. Sean doesn't have much
Check.
better. I bet would have won it there. Not now.
Little checky poo would be nice here, wouldn't it? Oh dear, Gary, this is not the time to try and bluff.
150.
He's gotten himself into terrible trouble here, Simon. He missed the bet on the flop, and now Sean has the nuts, the best hand possible,
Call.
and is just calling. Sean is digging a big hole here for Gary to jump into. And will he belly out?
Well, he's definitely going to check here, and obviously Sean will put a little bet in on the end.
Check. Check.
How exciting is this? I'm sitting here with the nuts.
300.
Still 7 high there, Gary.
It's all academic, isn't it?
Pass.
So that pot, good news for Sean Watkins, who had been sucking a bit of wind, but now back over par. Sean up to 3rd place. Gary is still the chip leader despite losing that hand. Michael has the short stack. John Sugar's under the gun. Don't know if he's even moved a chip yet this evening. He's a former professional golfer,
Call.
and with the king-queen of clubs,
Pass.
he's going to just send a little 4-wood
Pass.
down the fairway.
Pass.
£50 called. Simon, I remember
Call.
from talking before, you were very impressed with John Sugar's game in the heat.
Call.
That you've been tipping him to win this tournament.
Yeah, I have actually, and I still make him favourite to win this semi-final. So we'll see what happens. For me, it's close between John, Paul, and Michael.
4 players.
4 players. There's their hands, and bingo! John Sugars
Check.
catching a pair and a
Check.
flush draw.
Check.
Check.
150.
150.
Now, it'd be interesting to see how John plays this. I would not flat call here. I would hope that Michael's got a king,
Pass.
and I'd probably treble the bet.
Simon Jones to get through first. The bet's 150. Michael Jones is stuck in £150 on the king with the jack kicker. And
Pass.
we will now see how John Sugars wants to play this hand. He's got a monster.
Call.
Wow, I'm really surprised at this.
Call.
I would definitely have raised a little bit here.
Two players.
That's changed nothing.
Check.
Well, the trouble is you don't know where you are now, because you would have found out if he had a king. Now, how do you know he hasn't limped in with 5-6
400.
suited?
That's a big bet. That's a very big bet. I mean, Michael in a situation right now where he's basically drawing dead to 2 cards in the deck.
See, with Michael on the button, we both know that he would make that play if he had the straight drawing position.
All in.
Oh, what a play.
All in.
What a play by John Sugars. He's obviously set out to make this play, and now what is Michael Clark going to do?
Well, this is no fun for Michael Clark. In bridge terms, he has just been redoubled. And Simon, are there any hands out there that he can beat?
Well, there was no raise pre-flop, was there? So he can't possibly put John on ace-king or something like that. It's hard to, for him to think that his hand's not good. The only thing he might think is that John, he flat called him on the flop, and maybe he thinks that John has flopped a small set, like a set of 4s or a set of 7s. And that is the only way he might be able to get away from this.
Clark, well entitled to take his time, makes the right decision. You don't get to the semi-final of the late night poker ace tournament without being able to lay down top pair. Great play by John Sugars. Michael Clark was his equal there, and what a quality hand.
I'm reasonably confident, but anything can happen in this game, and you just have to rely on your luck holding out. And I hope I'm the luckiest player on the table today. It'll take a good hand to beat me, because I'm only going in with a good hand. So you better hope you've got the best one.
For more information on the next series, go to www.channel4.com/poker.
Pass.
Pass. Pass.
Raise to 100.
Raise to 100.
Sugars on the raise. And he's got Phil Hellmuth's hand, pocket 9s.
Call.
Called by Sean Watkins
Pass.
behind the button. We got action here.
Pass.
Pocket pair against 2 overcards. £50 on Michael Clark. And £50 right now, Simon, is expensive
Call.
from Michael Clark's point of view, but he does have the only live ace. He'd be happy to know that.
Yeah, and I mean, in the heat,
3
Michael would have
players.
moved in with that hand.
Oh.
Oops,
Check.
as they say. Oh yeah, listen, I'm going to check this time, says John.
Check.
3 9s for John Sugars. And what a disaster card.
Well, he's definitely not going to check now, Michael. He's got top pair with a nut flush draw.
300.
Now, how's John going to play this? Is he going to pop it up?